Hello, welcome to another episode of Swapping Joysticks. I'm your host with the most attractive co-presenter. He's called Ed Nightingale. He's from Eurogamer, and he talks about video games for a living and writes about them.
More writing than talking, but yeah.
Yeah, do you talk about them all day?
Only to you.
Yeah, I know.
I'll probably bore you.
No, I'm like, stop distracting me. I've got work to do.
It's definitely the other way around.
How dare you?
And who are you?
I'm Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I work for Great Ormond Street Hospital, children's charity, as their gaming and streaming person. But I also...
A much more worthwhile job.
Well, yeah. But I... yeah, I mean, society is better for my job.
Society would be... No, let's not.
No, I mean, yeah. We're both important in our own ways. But I also do streaming on Twitch as well. Content creator, that's the much more.
So do I.
You do. You do.
Bit.
You do one a week. That is totally fine.
I'll take that.
Speaking of it, how was your... It's been a weird... Like, our schedule has been a bit weird over the last few
I was
weeks.
going to say, it feels like a long time since we've done this.
I think it is because it was the last Saturday. It wasn't exactly 2 weeks ago, but Abu Bakar's one went up on the Saturday before last. So it's
Saturday?
been... Yeah.
Wasn't it a Monday?
Maybe a Monday. Yes, because
we definitely put it up on a Monday.
Yes, we did. We put it on a Monday. So last Monday it was that it... So it's been a bit over a week
Yes.
that we've done it. But yeah.
But if you missed that, please get back and listen.
Yeah.
Because it was a great episode.
And I'm gonna make some clips tomorrow, I think, and put it on the old TikToks and
Nice.
and that. But yeah, how's your week and a half or whatever been? Because we went to a concert.
Been all right. Yeah, I was going to say we should talk about that. We went to a concert on
Just said
Sunday.
that. Yeah.
The Elden Ring Symphonic Adventure.
Did you get an adventure from it?
I had a symphonic adventure. I don't know about you.
I was looking at the floor.
I know. I had a great time. So this was at the Royal Albert Hall, and I think, oh god, I can't remember the orchestra. I think it was the Royal Philharmonic.
I have no idea.
I did.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
No, it's not. I did look at that.
Do you want me to Google it? I'll have a look for it. Don't worry.
Thanks. But yeah, so it was at the Royal Albert Hall, which, if you have not been to London, is a huge hall where they have lots of classical concerts. It's an amazing venue. If you ever get the chance to go, because it's a really, really beautiful hall. And it was all Elden Ring music, which I presumed beforehand was going to be just sort of, some odd pieces from throughout the game. But it was literally the game from start to finish.
Yeah,
so,
Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra.
There you go.
And the Crouch End Festival Chorus.
Yes, that I remembered.
And Adrian Ronda Sampaio, the conductor.
There we go. Spanish. It was literally the game from start to finish. So from the opening cinematic right up to the final boss.
Some dung eater. That bit was there.
He featured right here. And yeah, it was literally... It was gameplay, so they've obviously recorded somebody playing the game but without the UI, and just taken that, like, every boss fight and main bits of exploration into, like, Elden Ring the movie with a live orchestra and choir providing the soundtrack, which was incredible.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm currently, like, doing a playthrough of Elden Ring at the moment, so I am nowhere near. Well, I watched... So it was about 2.5 hours, I'd say. 2 hours?
No, it was 2 hours.
Okay, so 2 hours.
There was an interval for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But it was over 2 hours from start to very finish. But like I was saying, 2 hours of music, I think we got. It went on. And then I would say after about 20 minutes, I just had to like look down because they started doing main bosses, and I was like, okay, this is the boss I remember, Renala. Mm-hmm. So I did Renala. So I watched Renala, and before Renala, there was like this big orange dog, and I was like, either I beat it first try.
It's definitely a wolf, but okay.
A wolf. Yeah. A wolf is a dog. A wolf is just a type of dog. It's just a breed of dog.
A wolf?
No, a wolf is a breed of dog. Don't write in. And so I watched. I was watching that, and that big wolf thing.
How did you not fight that boss?
I think I might have done, but I might have beaten it first try.
Well, bully for you. I mean, it's not a difficult one.
I think that might be why. I think I did it, and I just thought it was one of those kind of generic bosses. But yeah, Renala was the real tough one, I remember. And then I beat her, and then did a little bit of wandering, but never kind of progressed any further in my very, very first playthrough. But at the moment, I'm currently racing through, and I just beat Godric. I might talk about that a bit later. But yeah, so I watched up until Renala, and then I realized that, yeah, they're showing every single boss fight. And yeah, so I just looked at the floor and closed my eyes and enjoyed the music with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody looked at me and was like, is he just falling asleep? But it's like, it's not that boring.
I mean, the music is brilliant.
Oh, it's really good. I was quite surprised with how good the music is.
Yeah. And when you hear it with a live orchestra and with a live choir, it's amazing. I will say, I think for me, I like the music in the context of the game. So it's not necessarily a nice melodic soundtrack to listen to.
Oh, it's better than Returnal.
You can stop with that, thank you.
Terrible. If anybody listens to the Returnal soundtrack, honestly, play it outside and it'll keep the kids and the rats away. It's just a noise.
It's a sci-fi soundscape, and it's very
Why would anybody buy
composed.
a vinyl of that?
Because the artwork was nice. Jane Perry, if you're listening, please come and sign it.
Can you buy vinyl covers without the vinyl inside?
Why would you do that?
Because the vinyl's terrible and you would never use it.
Anyway, the Elden Ring soundtrack is very well done. But for me, a lot of it is kind of just lots of dramatic choirs and dramatic brass because, oh, you're at a boss fight now. And there's lots of kind of stuff going on.
Sorry, what was
it's
that?
all very dramatic. You heard it. It's all very
That's
dramatic.
actually his noise he makes.
What do you mean his noise? Yes, it came out of my mouth. So, yeah, I sort of feel like it's not samey because there is difference to it, but it's kind of like, okay, you get to a boss, you know there's going to be a lot of chanting and all that kind of stuff, but it's very, very well done. But for me, it works in the Oh, you've kicked the wire.
It's fine. You don't even need the headphone.
I'd like to hear
Myself.
myself.
Myself. Can you not hear me? I'm literally about a meter in front of you.
I'm not with headphones on, no. I like the music in the context of the game. And I think it was really smart of them to give you that journey so that it's like you're playing the game yourself. It sort of felt like that was everybody playing together just without a controller. And sort of the music was therefore accompanying the gameplay, which I think is where it works best.
See, I didn't particularly like that. I thought it was a bit distracting. Like the bit...
Well,
the thing is, I wouldn't say maybe that was the most distracting. For me, the most distracting was like the sound effects that they had in it. Like,
no. The most distracting thing were the people in front of us who decided to film 99% of it on their smartphone.
Gamers do not have, I'll be included in this, but the majority of gamers don't know concert etiquette.
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah, no. I just found that we'll go on to them, but I just found that the sound effects of smashing and hitting and slashing kind of distracted from the orchestra, and I was like, they could have done it. I think I'd have appreciated the music more if that's all I could hear, and I could see the visual and I could see the them killing and slashing away and fighting the bosses. I was okay with that, but yeah, I didn't need the sound effects.
I liked it.
I don't need sound effects over an orchestra. And then we started with an advert.
Well, yeah, they played a trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree at the beginning, which is a trailer I've seen a million times because I've written about it so much. And yeah, they kind of started with that to like get everyone hyped. But for me, the concert as a whole was kind of an advert and to get people hyped for the DLC, which absolutely worked for me because I've been wanting to do a playthrough before the DLC comes out and I just do not have the time. But sitting and watching this orchestra for 2 hours just go through the entire game, I was like, oh, okay, this is reminding me of all the bits that I missed, or like stuff that I've forgotten in terms of specific bosses, or what I also... Oh my God, this wire is infuriating.
Don't worry, no one can hear it.
Well, I can.
Why don't you just take your headphones off?
Well, if you get a proper adapter.
Wow. I've got like the amount of money that you can buy one. The amount of money I've spent on that.
Sure. I liked that the player character that they were showing in all the clips was constantly changing build. So 1 minute it was a magic build, and then it was like a samurai build, and then it was like a twin blade, and then it was a blood build, and like it was kind of showing off all the different types of character that you can be, and made me realize all the different weapons that I ignored or didn't use because I was a magic user for most of it. And so it made me go back and think, oh, I really want to go back and play as that build or try that weapon. And it was just a really good reminder of what the game was. And now I feel like I'm quite prepared for the DLC. So I really enjoyed that journey. I think my favorite bit was Melania, but I won't say any more because I know you haven't got that far. But
I watched a little bit.
Genuinely, I think Melania might be one of the best bosses they've ever done.
See, I've seen Melania before. Like, I've seen the bit of the boss fight for about a second or so. But one thing I didn't realize, but I do appreciate, is that she's like your height.
Yeah.
So I love a boss fight because they're sometimes the toughest, but they're also the most rewarding ones where you're fighting somebody the same size as you.
Absolutely.
I think it was Neo 1, where like you'd fight loads of enemies, these giant enemies and all sorts. But the hardest one, and I think it's the one that I even maybe stopped playing because I couldn't beat it, was a samurai who was just another guy. There's like the red samurai or whatever his name was. But yeah, he was really, I think I'd gone into that fight under-leveled and I didn't have a thing to kind of pull out. So I had to beat him. Otherwise, yeah, it was impossible to continue. But yeah, that was a really tough one.
That's why Lady Maria in the Clock Tower is my favorite Bloodborne boss, because again, it's like you versus essentially another hunter. And those bosses in Bloodborne are very good in general. But I think for me, like that boss in particular was just really well done. But I agree with you. When it's like a sort of human character, like one-on-one duel, that feels more rewarding and more satisfying than just, here's a big beast that looks cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the moveset isn't as intricate, I guess.
Is Melania a required boss?
No.
Because I know Radhan, is it?
Radahn, yeah.
Radahn, he isn't either, is he?
I mean, none of them are really.
Well, I mean, but I will, because I thought, I don't know, it made me, even though I was kind of just, I didn't even glimpse up really, but it still made me want to continue with the playthrough, which I will do. I'm going to be playing it probably, well, actually it'll be next week because we've got Biggest Vision and Friday Night Wrestling the rest of this week.
Yes. I think like all the Souls games have like optional bosses. But for me, the bosses are the best bit of a Souls game. Like exploring is cool, and the environments and all that stuff is great, really atmospheric. But when you get to a boss, that's the real test of like skill. And I love the designs of the bosses. I love to see the different movesets that they come up with, how creative they can be with their monster designs, and the different ways that you can kill them. So I really enjoy that test. So even when there's optional bosses like Melania in Elden Ring, I was like, I have to kill her. Like, I have to. And it's also the boss everyone talks about in that game, but she is genuinely the best boss in the game.
So I think it's been a while since I last...
In my humble opinion.
I think it's been a while since I last talked about what I've been playing, but I've been playing Elden Ring, and I beat Godric. So I've beaten Margaret and Godric, and I beat them both in the same stream within like an hour of each other, which was a bit weird because...
It feels so good.
No, don't need to be rude. I went a weird way. So when you go after you kill Margaret, you have to go around Stormvale Castle, and then you can fight Godric. But I couldn't find the way up to go the way that I normally do, and to get through and to like make my way through the castle. And somehow I ended up on the roof running around.
Very doable.
Okay, well, I didn't realize that I was meant to go there. I was going along these ledges, and I was like going around various towers, kind of not fighting anything, just going around these towers on the roof. And then I looked down, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's the pot people. And near the pot people is the entrance to Godric. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, I did not realize I was that close. So yeah, I went and beat him. But I feel you're saying that like the bosses are the best part because, you know, they test your real skill and stuff. But there's only one boss I've had so far that I feel like I've beaten it with skill, and that was the dragon. Because the dragon just going around in circles, knowing when to dodge, knowing when to kind of rush, knowing when to hit, when he's about, like what attacks he's going to do. I think it's because I've fought him a few times, and that boss battle is quite long. So you do, and you can't kind of summon anybody else in. So that was, for me, the only one that I've had where I feel that it was the skill that helped. The other ones, I feel like I've just been OP. So I've gone in with my little Tinkerbell, whatever it's called. You know, the little bell that you
The
ring,
summoning bell thing, yeah.
the maid bell. And so summoned
Did you
him.
get your jellyfish out?
Got my jellyfish out for them, but I also brought in the other person that helps you because it's part of the story.
Yep.
The quest line. So I was quite over leveled. Plus, I brought in the little summoning thing. Oh, the ashes? Is it ashes? No, that's the finishing one. Is it ashes of war, or is that the thing?
No,
you put on
ashes of
weapons?
war is what you put in weapons. Oh god, what are they called?
Spirit something. Spirit summons. Spirit vessels.
I don't know. They're summons.
Spirit summons. Spirit summons. Anyway, yeah, I brought them in.
Tell us in the comments.
Plus the person that came in. So I beat them both first time. Like I didn't die once, and I'm like, okay, now I wouldn't mind fighting something where it does take me a few tries, and it does make me want to kind of make me think that I've actually mastered a boss rather than just brute force my way through it.
But that's also what's great about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
Is that, well, I mean, it's easy, but also, you know, if you want to increase the level of challenge, then just go straight for the bosses and don't explore too much. But if you are finding it tricky, then yeah, go around, do some grinding, level up a bit more, and then you will inevitably be strong enough to kill things a lot more easily. So it's kind of up to you to balance it. And I think that's the tricky thing with Elden Ring. I mean, now we're just blabbing about Elden Ring, but
That's fine. That's fine.
Souls games, because the previous Souls games are much more linear, it's easier for I guess the developers to know what kind of level you're going to be. I mean, you can still sort of grind, but it gets very boring. So they sort of know where to pitch the difficulty in their ideal difficulty, let's say, because, you know, we should have difficulty options, etc., etc. But with Elden Ring, with it's a big open world, people can explore anywhere. And so sometimes you get to a boss and realize, oh, that was way easier than I thought it should have been. And other times you get to a boss and think, oh, wow, this is really difficult. I need to go off and grind. So it's really difficult, I think, for From Software to pitch the right level of difficulty.
And what I've done before is I've actually gone and like looked online and seeing like what websites recommend you're the right level at certain things. Because I remember going and wandering around. I beat some dragons and things, and then I went to fight. What's it? I always forget her name again. Renala.
Renala, yeah.
And I think I was like level 40, and she was kicking my ass a bit. And then I looked, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, you want to be like 45 to 60 to beat her." And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I need to go and explore a bit more and grind."
I don't think I was that high on a bit.
Yeah, but you're a pro, aren't you? But you do magic. Where...
No, I was a mage, which makes it easier.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I don't like being a mage. I like my Bloodhound Fang. I like doing bleed on it. Although, yeah, I need to work out whether Bloodhound Fang is like a really, really good build, or whether I should just go proper Vanguard and just get a good sword and do that kind of thing with a shield as well, maybe.
So this is the thing. So I did start a second playthrough of Elden Ring, and I decided to go for melee, and I think I got as far as Radahn, but I didn't kill him, so I got to like his area. So I guess just a bit after where you got to in your
yeah, I got to Caliph in my very first playthrough.
Yeah, so I was very similar kind of area, and I was really enjoying it. But in other Souls games that I've played as like a melee user. So like I'm playing Dark Souls 1 at the moment on stream. And I've gone just all in on like strength melee because magic's a bit shit in that game. And I'm really enjoying it. And then watching the concert and seeing all the different types of builds and like mixing and matching different things.
There's a samurai, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a really cool samurai looking build. And I was like, which I think actually you can choose samurai from the beginning.
Okay.
I think there's a samurai class, which I've never done, and thought, actually, that looks really cool with a katana.
Yeah.
And then there were loads of like different dual wielding builds. So they'd have like a sword in one hand and then a staff in the other that was doing magic, but it was all the magic attacks that were like summoning a bow or stuff like that. Spirit ashes. There you go.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So all these like dual wielding builds where when I was playing it, it was basically like a staff and a shield, which is literally the most basic like
yeah
way to play through it. But I knew I wanted to be a magic user. I like magic, and I know that the magic.
You
effects,
live your Harry Potter fantasy.
Exactly. The magic effects look cool, so I wanted to summon stuff. But now I know what's possible. I'm like, oh, I really want to dual wield like different blades. Well, there was one with like twin blades, and it was like twisting and flipping around.
I wonder if there's a good YouTube. I bet there's
Like-
a YouTube. Oh yeah, I've had the whip before. It's
Yeah.
quite fun. I was whipping the birds that with their swords for the feet.
Like
and dropping
Castlevania
bombs.
Fantasy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
think
also
you
what I
sh-
did in Bloodborne was the whip.
I bet there's a YouTube video we could watch where it's like all the different builds for Elden Ring, and just go and watch it and see which one kind of
Yeah,
tickles your pickle.
there are so many different types of builds. It's really, really cool.
Imagine playing through the whole of Elden Ring with the whip.
People have done that.
Of course they have, but just imagine it.
I know. It'd be really cool.
It would be.
I really want to play
Be
it now.
hot, whipping Melania to death.
The other thing as well is Shadow of the Erdtree is going to have more weapon types, which are in the trailer, which people have sort of
Could you
slowed
play
down
them from the
and picked them out.
beginning, or
I don't know exactly. But one of them is a sort of pugilist monk type character with like kicks and punches, and I'm really, really intrigued to see how that's going to work because they've never really had like hand-to-hand combat in a Souls game, really. I don't think. I might be wrong. Please tell me. But there are some really cool looking.
I think you can
bits in
punch.
that.
Because I keep accidentally.
Well, yeah, you can be like unequipped and
Yeah,
and
I've
like punch,
deselected
but
my
it's, like,
weapon.
it's not good.
I know. I've realised that when I was attacking something, going like, "Oh, the health's not going down," and then
Yeah.
realised I'm not actually hitting it with a weapon.
Good one. So I really want to try that in the DLC. Like, I just really want to play it.
Well, yeah,
Basically,
me
the
too
concept did its job. It got us hyped.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the people in front of us, well, they can go home and watch it again because they've got it all
Lucky
on
them.
camera.
Lucky them.
Oh, it was so annoying. It's like even if you're recording things from a concert, like whatever, put your brightness down because at least like, if you've got your phone and you're recording it, yes, it's a bit annoying and stuff. But if the brightness is really low down, then it's not going to distract me. But like when you just got this bright light in the corner of your eye,
Yeah, there was someone sort of in front to the left of me who was at least sort of holding it by their chest with like low brightness.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, at least you're trying to be sneaky.
yeah.
And I at least appreciate that. But the guy in front of us was literally full brightness holding it right in front of him, like up in the air. And I'm like, dude,
This is a classical concert.
this
It's
is
not
a classical concert at the Royal Albert Hall.
It's not a
Thank you
Blink
very
182,
much.
not a Blink 182 concert. So
Wow.
it's not that kind of thing. Anyway, I had root canal this week.
Lucky you.
That was joyous on Monday. I thought it was weird. Like it didn't hurt whatsoever.
Are we really going to sit and have a conversation about root canal?
Yeah, we are. So he went in, and because I also I told him don't shoot me, but I went in.
With what?
Well, I went in and he did his thing.
Hang on, he was Norwegian, and
Yeah.
your one Norwegian phrase is "I'm horny."
No, I do know some other ones. Ikashitmai means don't shoot me. Vodangodamadi. Although I was like, oh, at the end of it, I was like, oh, where are you from? I recognize your accent's familiar. And he was like, oh, I'm from Norway. And I was like, oh, Vodangodamadi. And he went, what? And I was like, Vodangodamadi. Yeah, he,
Which means what?
how are you?
Oh.
And then, he thought it was really funny. It's funny because he laughed like Mr. Millhill. He had a Mr. Mill, even though he's Finnish. But then I told him like how I know the guys from Donkey Boy and stuff like that. We had like a nice little chat about Norway. It was great. While he was charging me £800.
And in your mouth?
Yeah, and he put a bit of metal. I think it's metal in my mouth. But yeah, root canal. If you want to know what it is,
No.
no, it's so I had an infection in my tooth a couple of weeks ago that was really, really painful. It was horrible. It was like things were just dying to get out. It was just throbbing. But luckily that went down. But yeah, what they do is they just clean out inside your tooth and then they fill it up so it won't get infected, and then that's it. But it didn't hurt in the slightest. Also, by the time the anesthetic wore off, I was like, oh, it's going to hurt now. Nope, it's not once hurt. I've had a bit of a fever and been a bit ill the last couple of days, but I don't think that's related. I think that might be just me picking up a cold or something. Or COVID. I don't know.
I hope it's
Maybe
not COVID.
maybe injected that into me.
Don't give that to me. Thank you
No.
very much.
Well, if I've got it, you've got it. I'm afraid. So yeah, it was just it's been it's a weird experience because I've been dreading it. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was like terrified because I have quite dental anxiety. But then afterwards, I literally said, "It's like okay, done." And I'm like, and I genuinely said to him, "I was like, what is that it? Like, was that it?" Because it just less than half an hour.
Clearly, he was very good at his job.
He was incredible. If anybody here has a lot of money and they need root canal, then
Find yourself a Norwegian man.
no, just message me because I will recommend him 100%. Like genuinely, yes, he was really expensive, but if ever I need root canal again, I 100% want to go to him because it was completely pain-free and just not a horrible experience. Not enjoyable, but not horrible.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Enough about teeth.
From Elden Ring to root canal, what's next on our weird...
Well, let's go back to games, shall we?
Okay, fine.
And what we've been playing.
Is there a nice dentist game?
Probably.
Dentist simulator. Oh, that would be horrible, wouldn't it?
They probably are.
Speaking of simulator, I just bought a simulator game for £37 today.
And what's that?
It's the premium edition, so that's why, of Farming Simulator 22. Because there's a farming
Good Lord.
sale on... half my family are farmers. I haven't played it yet, but I've downloaded it, so I might play a little bit.
Are you going to
tomorrow.
play for 20 minutes and get a refund?
No. Farming Simulator is something I think I would enjoy, and it's also online, so we can get other people to come and help me.
Nobody is
tend
going to
to
want
my
to come and
fields.
help you. Tend to your fields.
You'd love to tend to my field.
I have no interest in your field. Thank you very much.
Even after it's been harvested?
Nope.
What about when the seeds need
And I
planting?
won't ride your tractor either.
Oh.
Not interested.
No. I thought you like a good plough.
I'm not answering that. We have been playing probably the two biggest games of the moment between us.
Yes. Elden Ring?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've both played some Stellar Blade, and you have also been playing Manor Lords.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking... when you said... No offense, by the way, if our friend Mark is listening, but I thought you were been playing Topspin. I was like, is it really the biggest game around? Topspin is also a move that Ed does.
Topspin's... You can hush.
I totally forgot. I've been playing Manor Lords.
Topspin's great.
Should we quickly go into that one?
It's the Dark Souls of tennis games.
Because you can't play it offline.
Oh!
Can you play Dark Souls offline? You probably can't you?
Yeah, you can.
You just can't pause it.
You still can't pause now, but you just won't get messages.
Yeah. So I've been playing Topspin. The gameplay. It's a tennis game. Every time I've mentioned Topspin, people have been like, "Is that rugby? Is it basketball?" It's like, no, it's like topspin. You have to, the top spin of a tennis ball. You could probably do that in golf as well, I bet. But yeah, so been playing Topspin, tennis game. It's the first time in like 13 years. Did you write earlier?
I did.
Yeah, something like that. Many years. It's the first one, and it used to be like Virtua Tennis, and then I think Topspin was the other big one that came out. And the gameplay is brilliant. Like, I've really enjoyed it. I've been playing career mode, so yeah, just like the gameplay in the matches feels. It just like there's a learning curve, quite a steep learning curve, but it just feels right when you do it. So I went in, created my character, who is beautiful.
I don't think he's that hot.
My character.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wow, he is stunning. In fact, I'm going to get a picture of him because I do have a picture of him on my phone.
Of course you do. And I won't ask why.
Because it's on my PlayStation app. But I'll pop it on. Unfortunately, anybody here who, they won't be able to see it if they're listening, so I apologize. But go and watch the video version if you want to see. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Look at that. Look at that, man. There? Still not a fan?
Let's have a look, shall we? Not for me.
Wow. You are very picky then.
Yeah.
Weirdly, considering.
Agreed.
And yeah, so I built him, and then we started doing some tournaments, because it goes month by month, the career mode. And every month you do like a practice session, a training session, which is different, and then a tournament. And at the start, your level is really low and you haven't reached higher rank. So you start off with like these kind of local tournaments that they have like 30 people, 40 people watching them, but it's quite low. And yeah, the people it's like a quarterfinal. Now I put the setting as real tennis. So I have to, win with genuine rules, because also you can play quite quickly if it's, like first to 5 points per set or whatever like that. Or
no, you want proper rules.
Exactly. So I went for proper rules, which is fine. And yeah, I was doing quite well, and yeah, like destroying opponents pretty much at the moment. But yeah, I've been doing the training, so I know how to do it. But it just feels really, really good. Like the ball comes towards you, so you're holding a button, you let go, and the feel and like and the progression system when you're actually playing the game. So the actual, I was about to say combat, not the combat, the gameplay and the hitting, that does feel
The hitting.
the hitting. I mean, that's what you're doing in tennis, isn't it? The serving and the hitting. Like there is a skill trajectory in there, and yeah, I do feel like I'm getting better and better. The only problem is that there's also a rest, or there's also a fatigue system. So if you do a tournament, the next month you probably want to sit out, because if you don't sit out, you're going to be absolutely knackered and then you get injured. And from what I've gathered, I've not got as far, but eventually if you play the game long enough, which is a long, long time, you do unlock like the Grand Slams. So you can play Wimbledon and Roland Garros.
I was going to say, have you won Wimbledon yet?
I haven't even played at Wimbledon. I'm not even
Well,
on the...
then come back to me when you've done that.
Yeah, so the thing is, you can't win all 4 Grand Slams in a year because of the fatigue system. But apparently there's some coaches that you can get that give you special buffs that'll help you actually, keep your energy levels up. But yeah, because you can't do like Roland Garros and then Wimbledon immediately after because you're going to be too tired from it. It's a bit weird, and it's a weird system that doesn't really make sense. It's like, come on, let me just play the career. Like, do tennis players really kind of not turn up to 3?
Everyone gets tired,
They
man.
do, but do they do a tournament like to Wimbledon and then they're out for a few months because they're tired? It's like, no, just have a good sleep.
Wow.
But yeah,
Coming from you.
But yeah, I'm doing the career mode, and I'll unlock like the second stage of the tournaments in each month, and then eventually the third one is when they have like the big, like the US Open and that. But it's okay. There are a few issues, such as you can't play career mode offline, which is weird.
Yes.
And you wrote a story about it.
I did. It's a little odd, yeah, because it's single player and it's career, and the reason is because your tennis player that you've created, you can then use online. So the idea is that if people can save it offline, then they could potentially hack it and cheat and then go back online and ruin it. So I appreciate that. But there have been a lot of complaints.
Yeah, and there's a season pass, obviously, and loads of microtransactions. But I mean, I don't really care because I've just got my character. It looks great, and then I'll, the actual gameplay speaks for itself. And yeah, the word I was looking for earlier, the learning curve. So the learning curve for how you play in the game is quite high. And I'm even tempted at some point to go to like a medium difficulty rather than easy, because I've been playing easy, obviously.
Of course.
But easy isn't easy. Like I was losing some sets at the start, but then I went to the academy and learned how to actually play the game properly.
So you didn't do the training first?
No, I just went in. I was like, I know the button to press to hit.
God. See, even I went straight to the academy, and then it's John McEnroe doing the voiceover, and he gets very annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, fuck off, John.
But I recommend it. If you like a tennis game, go and play it. I do feel like it might be on sale quite soon.
Don't say that.
So, but if you are really into tennis and you want a game that has fantastic gameplay, because looking at the Topspin 2K subreddit, it feels like most people are saying that this is the best for gameplay. But for everything else, like the career mode or the stuff around that, there are other games that are better.
Yeah.
Also, the characters look atrocious, like really bad. The real life ones, so the ones that are based on real people. There are some that are not.
Serena Williams looks decent.
She's
Federer
not
looks
amazing. No. Alcaraz, who is like the number one is in the top 3, I'm sure right now. Tennis players, he looks nothing like he is in real life.
Andy Murray also looks awful.
Andy Murray looks like nothing.
He's had some hard times.
Yeah, genuinely. It always looks like someone's gone to Andy Murray's character, gone to the character creation mode and pressed random, and they've just adjusted a million things on his face.
Props.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I played a bit of it as well. Like you say, gameplay is actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it doesn't quite beat Mario Tennis on the N64.
Well, the only Mario Tennis
which
I've
for
had
me
was...
is the pinnacle of tennis games, because I like silly sports games. But I think if you like proper tennis games, this is absolutely the tennis game to get.
The only tennis I've played of Mario was, what's it called?
The only
Aces.
tennis game I played of Mario.
Yeah, the Mario Tennis game was Mario Tennis Aces.
The Switch one.
Yeah, and it was shittingly annoying.
Yeah, I remember playing the online test of that, and the servers were awful, and it was the most infuriating thing.
If it was just like 2v2 or 1v1 or whatever without any kind of added bits, it's fine. But like the career mode required you to kind of have a match on a boat with a mast in the middle and giant bombs exploding around.
I'm not interested in that.
No interest whatsoever. But yeah, so go and play it. And also, they're online apparently for Top Spin's a bit meh. Apart from the servers going down all the time and people not being able to play the game, you can't do 2v2. You can't do duos online.
You can't.
No.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe they'll add things. Maybe I think Top Spin can be improved if they add to it, if they update it with like new features, which they could do with like the duos and maybe making the career mode offline. But also, they could do things like, reduce the fatigue system. So it's, instead of when you're doing a tournament, it takes out 40% of your health or whatever, your fatigue or your tiredness, it takes out, 15%. Or just get rid of it. I mean, it's pointless, but maybe just tweaking it would be better.
I mean, I'm sure this is going to be an annual series now, as long as it does well.
It's a great
and
start.
now that they've got the basics down of the gameplay, it's like, okay, well, now you can kind of just repeat that for next year, but just dress up everything else around it to make it a more complete package.
Exactly. Yeah, this is probably going to be the hardest thing for them, is to actually get the game out and make it playable, presentable, and people would want to buy it. And then, just like this, there are many games that they bring out that they improve on each year.
He says.
Well, I mean, the latest WWE game is the best yet, but then I just remember what happened to 2K20 and also the downfall of the NBA series.
It's not always a guaranteed improvement.
That's true.
Anyway, Top Spin. That's fun.
Top Spin. Right.
Should we talk about boobs?
Go on, let's talk about the bobs. I'll let you talk about the bobbers.
Stellar Blade. Now, this is a game at the moment, which I'm really enjoying, contrary to some of the discourse online. We'll get to the discourse, because that's its own thing. Let's talk about the game itself first. Just for people listening or watching who don't know what Stellar Blade is, it is from a Korean developer called Switch Up, I believe. Or is it
Swift Up? I think it's Switch Up. Yeah.
I always get the name wrong. Because there's also...
Is it Shift Up?
Shift Up.
Yeah.
Because then there's Skill Up is also a thing.
Skill Up is a YouTube video.
Yeah, and I get very confused.
Yeah. Shift Up, yes, I am right.
Okay, Shift Up. Korean developer. And I believe that this is their first ever console game, because all of their previous ones were sort of anime girly mobile things. This is their first console game. It's exclusive to PlayStation. Sony are really pushing it because they have no other games. And it is a sort of hack and slash action game. You play as a female android called Eve, who has a male assistant called Adam.
Yeah.
Let's see what they've done there. And essentially, it's a post-apocalypse on Earth because of these weird alien creatures called Nighteba, because sure. And you come down from this space station in the sky as an android to come down and save the Earth. And if that sounds a bit like Nier Automata, it is. It's budget Nier Automata. It's nowhere near as clever.
Okay, no, it was clever. I mean, when you say budget, I think they're both.
There's
both double A games.
There's a fair bit of money behind this. Like it's very well made, very well produced. The visuals are beautiful.
I bet
for multiple reasons. But the story-wise is very much just sort of copying Nier Automata.
I mean, Nier kind of destroys nearly every game with its story.
True. What this game excels at is the combat. It is a hack and slash action game, and it's very good at doing that. It's sort of a bit of Nier Automata with a bit of Bayonetta with a touch of Souls.
Yeah,
kind of. That's the very
more
basic
I play, the more I'm like,
of it.
actually, this is nothing like Dark Souls.
No, it's not.
No, because like you get XP, you don't lose the XP if you die. It's not that kind of system, and the boss fights just feel like good boss fights. Doesn't feel just like a Dark Souls.
There are two things I think that people sort of are bringing up, or two reasons people are bringing up. Soulsborne Nero games, let's say. Sekiro is the obvious comparison, and that is because there is quite a big emphasis on parrying in this game. So she fights with a sword and has various sword swipes, etc., different combos, blah, 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 blah. You can dodge, and if you do a last-minute dodge, it goes to sort of slow motion, and you can follow up, which is very near Bayonetta. But also she can parry, and if you do a perfect parry, again, it goes to slow motion, and you can follow up. Now, what's interesting is that the enemies have a health bar, but underneath it, they have sort of extra dots. and every time you do a perfect parry against an enemy, it takes away one of those dots, and when you deplete all of those, they then become groggy or stunned, and then you can follow up with like a big attack. So the idea is that with bosses especially, you want to really learn their attack patterns so that you can parry in time and focus more on parrying than attacking, which is a very Sekiro kind of mindset. What I've also heard is that on hard mode, you have to be a lot more careful and a lot more precise, and therefore parrying is much more of a viable option. So on like normal mode, you can kind of button mash, and it's a bit more hack and slashy. And to be honest, it's quite an easy game. It hasn't been that difficult.
I saw you die a lot.
Okay, we'll get to that. But on hard mode, I think it's a little more soulsy. But you're right, you don't lose your XP or souls or anything like that. Yes, there are checkpoints where you can upgrade, which is a bit like a bonfire, but also that's not exactly an original Souls thing. So there are slight soulsy elements, but really it's just a really good combat-focused action game.
Action RPG? We're saying RPG?
Not really.
Because you can, I mean, there's lots of like skill trees and things like that, but I'm guessing it's not to go, you don't play in a certain style, you don't play in a different, there's no magic build or there's no...
Yeah, not really. I
wouldn't
really say it's a role-playing game. It's definitely more of an action game, I think. So for that reason, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the combat. Have you enjoyed the combat?
Oh yeah, the combat's great. I played the demo, and I think because I played so much of that boss fight after the demo, so you do complete the demo, and afterwards then they give you a load of other skills and say, go and fight this big boss, which I know you've beaten.
I've literally just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fighting that quite a lot, so I think I learned a lot of the time. It got a lot of the timings down quite well. But yeah, when you start, it's really quite hard to get a perfect parry or a perfect dodge. But within, like, one of the first things I upgraded was the parry and the dodge window. So because I was learning those windows at the start, now that I've expanded those windows, I'm doing them quite often. And so the boss, at the end of the demo, that you fight a boss on the top of a car park. And when I first played it, I remember in the demo, I didn't die, but it was very, very close. Like I almost died, and it was quite dodgy. Then when I played it as part of my playthrough this time, I took like 2 hits. I took 2 hits the entire time, and was managing to dodge everything and parry. And I don't know if that's because I'd got used to that more. But I feel like when you're playing a game and you do feel that you're getting better, and there I had something to compare it to because I would have had the same skills and the same level as the demo. I did feel like I was making progress, and it did feel good. And yeah, no, I genuinely really do enjoy that. And it's similar to like a Souls game in that I really enjoy the boss fights.
Yes.
Like they're the best parts.
I think the combat suffers a little bit when you're against more than one enemy.
It can be very tricky.
You haven't got to the wasteland yet, but there are like lots of little enemies that are just very annoying because they sort of come up from behind, and the targeting doesn't always switch between them.
Yeah, the targeting I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the smalls. I feel at the moment they're a bit repetitive as well.
Yeah. But the bosses are great. I think for me, like overall, it's just a really solid 7 out of 10 game. Like it's got great combat, really good bosses. I like the designs of the sort of environments and the enemies. The story's a bit pants. The music's very good.
Music's very good, yeah. Nia
It's
style.
like Nia meets K-pop, sort of. But it's not doing anything particularly new or original. It's just a really good little combat game, and I'm kind of happy. I have a bit of a soft spot for a 7 out of 10 game, so I'm very happy.
You love
to
a
just
Sonic.
play that. I love Sonic Frontiers. I love Forspoken. These are just decent games.
Should play Destiny.
No. However, this game is completely blown up, and it's very popular. It's like #1 everywhere.
Well, nothing else is really out, is it?
Well, partly that, but also it's because of the discourse that has blown up around this game, which I will attempt to summarize for you as swiftly as I can. So you play as Eve. She's an android, and she has some very obvious assets on the front and on the back.
And literally, like when you start the game in the opening cutscene, she gets pulled out of this pod, and it's slow, and it does like a slow motion of like glistening kind of boobs and butt, and it zooms in. They don't even see a face; it's just kind of zoomed in on that, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like every cutscene is butt first, like just butt first.
You are playing in the skin suit, though, aren't you?
Well, this is the thing. So, part of the appeal of this game, or I guess multiple meanings of the word appeal, is that you can dress Eve up in different outfits. So as you progress through the game, you unlock different outfits that you can then create and dress her up as. You can change her hairstyle. She is essentially a doll for you to dress up and ogle, because a lot of those outfits are very revealing. However, you can also take off the outfits entirely and have her in a skin suit, in inverted commas, which is essentially her naked.
Can you get Adam in a skin suit?
No. Now, the skin suit she's an android, so it's still a suit, in inverted commas, but it's skin coloured and it's very revealing. She has a very strange looking belly button that looks a bit like a vagina, which in itself is a little bit weird.
Wow.
And there's a very obvious camel toe going on. Now, this when the demo came out, people realized, oh, you can do this. And there were all these clips and, you know, there's all this like sexual animation of her sliding down a ladder and people moving the camera underneath her and all of this.
Yeah, I was literally on Reddit and somebody was going there saying, oh, this is already better than Nier because you can climb ladders.
Yeah.
And then and they're just like, you know what I mean? You can climb ladders. I was like, get out of your mum's basement.
Yeah, awful.
Weirdo.
So, but the thing is that the developers picked up on that and then said, well, we would recommend that you don't go in the skin suit because it removes her shield. So when you're wearing an outfit, she has a shield, which gives her, you know, a buffer to health. Whereas if you wear the skin suit, she doesn't have that. And it's like, well, A, why did you put that in there in the first place? And B, you know that's just going to goad people to say, oh, well, I'm going to do a skin suit run, which obviously is what I'm now doing because I wanted the full toxic incel experience.
But it's what you're doing is what Miss Mika's doing as well. And it's like...
Plenty of people are doing it.
I've said, like, I hope the gays and the girls take this game, and it seems like they have done. But I do quite like the fact that they do debuff it if you do take it off, because it's not like, oh, no, you can have them naked if you want. It's not like me when I play a good old JRPG
I guess
and put it on.
reason for it.
And I put I always put the swimsuit outfits on whenever I play like a JRPG that has that.
Of course you do.
So just out of, just for fun.
Enjoy Rebirth.
I will.
So, yeah, so basically all this discourse has come up because of sort of the very overt sexualization of the lead character. And it's blown up for multiple reasons. And I think for me, the issue, is not that she can be naked and not that she has these assets. There are people who have been like, oh, it's unrealistic, her body proportions. No, her body is literally modeled on a Korean model. And they chose that model clearly, specifically because of her assets. But they've also said that she is the model from the neck down. And then they just created a face for the character.
Which you can tell because the face is very just kind of doll-like.
Yeah, very doll-like. And then this, body proportion that, good for her, Korean model, but has very strong assets. And it's very obvious why they've chosen her. Yeah. It's very obvious what their priority is with this character. And that's totally fine. Like, I'm totally down with a sexualized character. We've had plenty of those before in the past. The issue is that she just has no personality. And that is down to bad writing more than anything. Like, there is no characterization. She is utterly bland. The voice acting is totally flat. And I don't put that down to the voice actress because I know that she's been...
They want to play her as an android, I guess.
Yeah, and so that's the thing.
So in Nier is as well, so...
Well, exactly. And I don't put this down to the voice actress. She's been on Twitter, like, with videos of her recording. I'm sure she's great. She's done other stuff as well. I'm sure it's kind of the direction that's been given. And it's because she's an android, but equally, there's just nothing going on there. And so it's even more obvious that the physicality of her has been made for the male gaze to be ogled at. And I'm like, is this really what men want? Is just a kind of blank slate personality with big tits?
Not just men, Ed. Some
well,
women,
maybe not. But like,
some women like
that's
that.
just really sad. If that's genuinely what people are after.
What do you like in a man?
A big personality.
All right. So, yeah, I'm sure if... thing is, I can't comment on this because, like, Resident Evil 3, I want to play it on PC just so I can get the shirtless Carlos mod.
Sure.
So I'm just as bad as they are.
Well, there is that, but also there's less opportunity for that unless you get mods. Whereas with women, there's way more sexual characters.
I think the reason that this is different to Bayonetta as well is that she's very kind of just doll-like, and it's this weird fantasy that these people have that love the game, that love her. They want someone that they can kind of mold to be like who they want. Whereas Bayonetta, she's a very strong, independent woman, and she owns that sexuality. Whereas this person's like, I'm a cute little schoolgirl, that kind of vibe, and it's a bit weird.
Bayonetta is the main comparison that people are sort of bringing up, and that's the thing, is that
you can compare because they're different, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, Bayonetta is very sexualized and but it's very over the top to the point where it's basically camp. Like I saw a streamer who was literally playing it for the first time and was laughing at the opening cutscene where she rips out of the nun outfit and you see it across her thighs and her ass and her tits all at the same time, and then she bursts out, and you're just like, this is so ridiculous, but it's kind of funny. But because Bayonetta is basically a drag queen, and she's like Yas Queen Slay, and she knows that she's sexual, it's like she's complicit with it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Eve is such a blank slate, it's like she doesn't know she's sexy. And that, I think, is the dissonance that becomes a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I mean, some people like that.
Yeah.
They like the kind of, they don't realize that they're really attractive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So part of the reason this is blown up then from discourse is I think it's been semi-spurred on by the developers a bit, and I totally appreciate that they are Korean. It's a different culture. They have different standards. That is fine.
And maybe they want to go for
totally
the people that like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure.
There are games for everybody.
That's fine. And like I say, I'm totally happy with like a sexualized woman. That is not an issue at all. The problem though is that this has now been co-opted by all the incels and the man babies who are like, oh, this is what we always wanted in video game characters because, like, Aloy's got a really ugly face, and I don't
beard.
like
She's got a
her.
beard. She's got hair on her face,
Yeah, and
women
like,
apparently don't have any hair whatsoever on their face.
And apparently, like, Eve is apparently the ideal woman that they want in games, and so they're now co-opting this as like, this is what we want. But then it's like, but that's sort of. People are then going against that to say, well, that's unrealistic expectations of women. And then it's like, well, actually, it's kind of, her body is based on a model, so it's not unrealistic necessarily, but that's all a weird thing.
But it's also the people that want that. It is unrealistic for any of the people that are obsessed with getting a woman like that.
Oh, they'll never get a woman like that, no. Yeah. Of course not. But then they're now complaining about censorship. This is the latest thing.
So now it's great because they finally went off it because we were like, oh, I want this game to be co-opted by the gays and the girls. And I feel like they are slightly taking it because now, the incels have turned on it.
Well, they're all for this like sexy lady, but now that it's been ever so slightly censored in that she doesn't have vagina bones anymore, because that's the thing that keeps getting censored, or she has ever so slightly covered up her cleavage.
But this is the thing, is they want an argument. These people don't care. They just need an argument. They need to get angry about something. They need to get the rage clicks, because you see all of the videos about this. Oh, it's been censored. How dare they do that to us? They got rid of a potential racist slur, which they were angry about because that's apparently censoring as well. And you missed a bit, actually. You missed the bit in the middle when the reviews came out. And the game did really well. It's got like mid-80s in Metacritic. But all these videos are coming up going like, look at these games journalists. They don't appreciate this game. Of course, they were not going to give it. And people going like, it's easily a 5 out of 5. It's easily a 10 out of 10. Why would they give it an 8 out of 10 or a 9? And like, genuinely, like, whatever score that this game got, there would have been people being angry and giving because
I mean, it's a 7 out of 10, guys.
Well, you say it's a 7 out of 10, but it's got it's got into the 80s in Metacritic. I don't exactly know what it is right now, but it's got really good reviews. It's reviewed very well. It's got, I mean, it's not as high as like Nier or anything like that, but it's been really well received. And and I think people were expecting it to be kind of 72, 73 on OpenCritic, but no, it's like 82, 83. It's done really well. Yet all the videos came out from the typical websites. I'm not even going to name any of them, but there are some that are very much, they don't, in their title, they aren't explicitly like, the quartering. He, full well that he's going to come out with some kind of racist shite. And there's some people like, oh, angry gamer, oh, you know what they're like. But there's some like games and demos, or I don't know what the names of these channels are, but they seem really innocent. But then you look and they're coming out with this rage because they realize that that's the grift. That's where they get money from. If they can rage about something, then people will click on it.
If you can be outrageous and have an extreme opinion, then that's what's going to get you clicks. But it doesn't matter which way that swings.
Well, generally those people, it tends to swing right. It tends to be bigoted. It tends to be making people angry.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're doing it, like they're coming out with these really bigoted videos, then people are going to be clicking on it, and the little incels, they go together, they flock together. It's, you see on the internet, there's loads of kind of groups of people from all over the place, all over politics and whatever they're talking about, but they just get obsessed in their own little communities. And yeah, they realize that these things sell, so they've been putting out these videos saying, look at this game, the one that the journalists hate, and then they use the same kind of memes of a person with blue hair crying and all this stuff, and saying like, oh, they obviously hate this game. And it's like, this does not even, it's not reality. This, have you actually looked? Because people are genuinely like this game. Kotaku were positive about it. Like there are loads of really positive reviews out there, but I think it's
the
as though
reputable places were positive about it.
Yeah,
yes.
the reputable, like Kotaku.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, you know,
I thought
Kotaku,
you were just
IGN,
saying, like,
Eurogamer, like
yeah.
Polygon, whatever. Like
You gave it, Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's like, it's generally been received well, yet these videos still came out saying that it's been panned, and it's like, and they found like one review that gave it a 4 out of 10 or something, and had commented. I don't even know if it got a 4 out of 10 or if it got like 2 stars or 3 stars, I think, whatever. But they'd made a comment about, you know, it'd been unnecessary how sexual she was. So they were like taking these out, and they were making big videos of it. And I'm like, well, no matter what had happened with that game, they would have said exactly the same thing. They're just grifters. They've got their ideas. They know what their videos are going to come out. Even if reality is completely different, they'll make those videos, and the thing is that so many people watch them, and they believe this distorted view that the right-wing grifters are pushing out. And it's quite worrying. It is very worrying, I think.
It is.
Because people's views are just getting more and more extreme.
But also, it just results in sales because it's selling really well, and it is a good game. To summarize, you know, it's a decent 7 out of 10, very good combat game that has blown up because of a load of discourse. And if anyone is sat at home on the internet, sitting behind a profile picture, moaning about vagina bones in a video game, get a fucking grip.
Yes, I think.
And not of yourself.
Well, I think that'll be, well, yes, no, please, only of yourself. Don't, no one else will want.
Well, no, don't grab anyone else.
Yeah, no, I think.
Anyway, that's Stellar Blade, everybody.
It is. And also, by the way, nearly all of the things when they said there's been censorship because they've added this or done this, it's like quite a lot of those things that they compare them to are false. Like, they're not. There hasn't been any censorship.
There has not.
Anyway, what? Oh, yeah, I've been playing Manor Lords.
You've been playing Manor Lords, which is the other big game at the moment.
It is. It's in early access. It's come out on Steam. It is a city builder, a medieval city builder, and the kind of the hook for it is that you can get into it's just really, really detailed. It's designed and being created by one guy, but you start off with there's one map at the moment, split into 8 areas, and it just randomly spawns you in one of these areas, and you'll have control over that area, and then you have to build your camp and build your town, and, you know, grow and grow and grow from this tiny little camp that you have. The thing is, like, it starts obviously with that, but one of the main reasons why people, I think, love this is that you can actually walk around. So you can actually walk around your town, and it just feels really realistic. It's very much like The Witcher 3, like the very kind of White Orchard at the beginning, where it's just loads and loads of fields and trees, although in Manor Lords, when you start, none of the fields are there because, well, it's just wilderness and countryside. So then you have to kind of build it. But you have to do everything very manually. So if you want to build some houses, you need some wood. And to get some wood, you need to build a woodcutter lodge, I think it's called, like a woodcutter's hut or whatever. And you can actually see them going in there, chopping the trees down, felling the trees, and then they have to bring an ox to move the tree trunk or move the log. And then if you want to go and build a house, you have to move that log to where the house is built. And it's like, you can genuinely see.
So it's not like Age of Empires where they just knock a couple of times and it pings up.
No, it's you can see everything happen. And I was actually watching because I needed to sell, I think I was selling some clothes in the market, because when you grow, you have to have a marketplace. And I could see the person going to the place to their house, I think it was, where they were taking the cloth, whatever, to their house. They have in the back of their house, I'd made it so that they could make some kind of armor or whatever. So they made it, and then they came, and I could see them like carrying the cloth on their shoulder as they were walking to the market, and then they place it on the market stall. So it's just so well detailed. And
Was it Kuntz who was doing that?
it wasn't Kunst, but everybody, there's always a character in, always a person in each one called Kunst that I think every creator sees and goes, oh.
Yep.
So I think that's a bit intentional.
Yes.
So I really, really, really like how detailed it is. And also it doesn't rush you. The way I've been playing, I mean, I say it doesn't rush you. There is a mode where you're against the Baron who's also trying to invade, who's trying to take over. He's based off the map, but he sends his armies to kind of claim the other areas, but he does it a bit too quickly and is also almost impossible to beat. So I've kind of removed that. But it just, when I've been playing the way I've been playing, it's just been very, very chilled. I haven't gone into any like debt. In fact, the money's gone up loads. And yeah, just slowly growing it. And what I really like as well, which things like City Skylines would really benefit from, is when you want to build a house, for example, you draw the plot. So you draw the plot, and then it will build a house for you there, and it will use the plot that you've drawn. So it's not just like, these 4 squares put here, and then it puts like a generic house there. It's like, no, this is where the house is going to be. The garden, we'll put the fencing around the plot for your garden, and then in the garden, every garden looks different. It's just, it feels really real.
So it's not, I guess, I mean, I know the answer to this already, but it's not on a grid.
No,
because I think a lot of
grid.
city builders tend to be even subtly underneath. It's a grid-based thing, so you know how to align things.
No grid, and there's pretty much there's zero like traffic management, so you don't need to worry about that. Although you showed me that video earlier of people with 1,000 people in the village and it needing kind of a drive-through and stuff. But like that, you don't need it. There's a King's Road that connects all the different regions that you need to be connected to, so that deliveries can get in and out. But yeah, there's no traffic management needed. It's all about kind of having a production line. So you've got some berries, and where you are, it feels like every area of the map will have something in abundance. So you might have berries in abundance. So there's a berry that will obviously kind of be depleted throughout the summer, and then you have to wait till the following year for them to grow again, but you can constantly harvest them. If you have like a little crown above the berry, that means it have in abundance, and maybe instead of 20 that you can harvest, there are 60. So yeah, you can, and then maybe they grow faster. I'm not sure. Or there's a clay pit, and maybe the clay pit, instead of having 200 bits of clay that once it's been removed, it's gone, there's like 3,500. And so you can use that as like your main production, and you'll sell a lot, or you'll create items from it and then sell those. So that's like that'll be your money maker. But yeah, so it's really about that kind of production line. And the other thing that's a little bit different as well compared to others is that you don't assign people to do different jobs. So you don't, for example, the sawmill, you won't assign a person, you'll assign a family. So the family, and the families will do different things in that. So if I assign a family to a farm, for example, to a farmhouse, some of them will go and they'll be planting the crops and seeding, they'll be tending to the fields, but there might be 1 or 2 that go to the market to sell the produce. So, and there'll be some that...
How many's in a family? Or does that vary?
I think it varies. So it varies. I think it's like 3.
Okay.
But I think if they are really happy when they can also have a 4th person move in. It's either that, or it's 2 and then 1 comes in, or 3 and 1 comes in.
A 4th moves in.
Yeah, a third has moved in. But they all work, whether they're children or not. Although I don't know if I've seen children in there working, but or actual children in the game. But it is early access, and it's one guy doing it, so there's maybe not that much variety. But I love it. Like, so the logging camp, for example, you put it down, and yeah, there'll be one person going around chopping all the trees, and there'll be other person directing the ox to go and take the timber to the yard, to the storage. It's just, yeah, I don't know, it just feels really, it's really enjoyable. You feel like you've got control over everything. I imagine if you have a huge town or village, or well, be town or city or whatever, it's going to be a bit more of a pain. But I don't know, I just really enjoyed playing around with it and managing. And yeah, you have to kind of decide where you want to put the families. And quite a lot of the time, a few of the things that have families assigned to them, you have no family assigned to them because you need them elsewhere. So, for example, the granary is where you store all your food. But if you like, it's not essential to have someone there really, because people, when they get food elsewhere, they'll just go and take it to the granary.
Mhm.
However, if you have a family assigned to the granary, they will go to the market stall and sell some of the food that's in there and assign it to other people there. So it helps definitely in the end, but sometimes as the village is growing, you need to kind of prioritize. Oh, I need some firewood or whatever, so I'm going to go and put 2 families on the wood chopping part. So
Right.
yeah, and then you go move them around. And obviously, like, yeah, the berry picking in winter, you remove them from there because there are no berries being grown, so you can put them elsewhere. And yeah, you're constantly managing stuff like that, which is really good fun.
So it's in early access. You basically got to the end game, right? So what is next, or what would you like to see next?
Well, I've started 4 games of it. 3 of them have game breaking bugs.
Oh.
So the two of them, so you build the houses, you start off, and you have just the tents, and then you need to immediately make a storage space for the supplies, a granary so that the food can go in there, because you get like a starting area. You need ideally, well, the first thing you need is the logging camp. It's called whatever it is, to log the tree, to get the trees, so then you can actually build some stuff. So you build that first. And then you build, so you just build a little square, put a well down, put the storage, and then you build 5 houses, which house 5 families. And then if you want anybody else to come in, you have to build an extra house, because they're not going to move in without a house. But they'll only move in if your approval rating is above 50%. So you need to, but it's quite easy to get. You just need to have like some of the food available. So, start working in the hunting area or getting some berries or whatever, and your approval will go above 50. So as soon as it's above 50 and that there is there's a free house, somebody will move in. I think it's 1 family per month. If it's over 75%, you can have 2 families move in. However, 2 of the games that I've started out of the 4 that I have, the 2 of them, there's a bug where the approval gets stuck if you don't build the houses quickly enough. So my first, in fact, I think both of them have been stuck on, well, one of them was stuck on 43%, and when the other one was stuck on 48. No matter what I did, I even built a church, which kind of increases their happiness, and he did not budge at all. And this seems to happen if you don't build the houses quickly enough. It just has this negative marker for homelessness, even if you've built them all houses, and that's like permanent and never changes. But like people go, oh, you just need to wait. I'm like, no, you can wait a year. It's completely stuck, and it's a bug. So
bug fixes is what you want then.
I want bug fixes because I've also completed the game, because one of the winning scenarios is to reach, I think it's large town or small town. I'm not sure which it is. And after because I streamed for about 9 hours or so.
You streamed a lot of the week.
I did. I played it for a good 9 hours or so and reached that level. And at the end of it, it was like, oh, congratulations, you've won. These are all the stats from it. These are the people you've killed, or the people that have, things you've sold or whatever. And it's like, do you want to continue? It's like, continue or end the game. And I was like, I'm going to continue I think it's continue in sandbox mode. So I click on it, and then I continue. And after about 30 seconds, it pops up again, being like, congratulations, you've won. Do you want to continue in sandbox mode? However, that also appears below what I've clicked on.
Right.
And then at the very bottom, it says, do you want to continue or do you want to play sandbox mode?
You can't click on it.
Well, you do. You click on it. And then the third time, it pops up again after about another 30 seconds. It's off the screen, so you can't click on it.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, there's generally nothing I can do. So I was like, okay, I guess I've won that one. That's great. Okay, I'll just start a new one. So then I started a new one, and then because you can remove like winning conditions, so you can just play the whole game from the start in sandbox mode. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do that. That's what I really like about it as well, is at the beginning of each game, you can kind of fine tune what you want. Like, do you want bandit camps? Do you want them to actually raid you? Do you want the AI enemy off the screen, to come and start invading and things like that? You can turn those off. So you can be very if you just want a really chilled, slowly building a village or whatever, you can completely do that. And that's what I did. And I turned off the end conditions so that I could go and play it for however long. But that's when I had another moment where it was
Did it bug again?
where it bugged at 43%.
Oh,
So
dear.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna not play it anymore, and I will wait until
I feel
the
like
bugs.
you've got a lot out of it in the time that you've been playing.
A lot, yeah. There are lots of bugs. There's so much to like about that game, and so much to enjoy. It's one I'm 100% going to be going back to again and again and again. And oh my god, yeah, this game when it's in 1.0, once the bugs have been fixed, once there's a lot more to do, and maybe you can build a city or whatnot. I don't know what there is, because at the moment you can only build houses to level 3.
Did you build a manor?
I did, yeah. You have to build a manor. I did build a manor because that's what you do. And then
Can you make a castle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much you can build a castle, but it uses quite a lot of resources and also a lot of manpower, and I needed them for other things.
Castle's definitely more important.
That's true. And you can put taxes up and things like that.
High tax, big castle.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that's
Nice.
that's Manor Lords, and I'm very much looking forward. At the moment, like I said, you can only get to house like level 3. So as you increase your house, you can get them to do various things in the garden. So you can make their garden become a carrots, or like a carrot garden. Or carrot garden, is that a thing? A vegetable patch.
A vegetable, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you can make a vegetable patch, so that also provides more. And then that family, there'll be someone in that family that will go and sell those vegetables at the market. So yeah, and also then when it's like level 2, you can make it so that people can they can make alcohol in there, or they can turn the malt into cider or whatever, or whiskey. I don't know what they do. Or you can get them to be tailors. So yeah, at the moment I got to level 3 houses, but yeah, in the future you'll obviously be able to level them even higher. But it'll be interesting to see just how, like, what high level those houses become. And how far into kind of modernization they are. But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited about playing more of that. But I'll wait until the update is, because I went immediately after it had that game breaking bug. I went and played some City Skylines 2, and then people came in and were like, "Oh wow, your village has improved a lot."
Yeah, evolved.
Nice.
One other quick one I just remembered is a quick update on Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh.
Because I have
We both have updates.
finally started Endwalker. It has been however long, and I finally got there. And I'm loving it. I'm actually really enjoying 14, and I've been very like on and off with it, but I'm very on at the moment. It's I'm enjoying the story and the setting of it so far. I'm enjoying being a Reaper. DPS is working for me.
Good.
And I think what's cool about it is that because I have like written about it since Endwalker has come out, and I went to FanFest and sort of seen the concerts and the music and things like that, I never really knew what that was, so I enjoyed it but didn't get it as much. And now I'm at Endwalker, I'm like, oh, I know this music and I know this bit and I know this setting, so I feel like I'm just way more into it than I was before, which I really like. So yeah, this is me for the next few weeks. Basically, is just to plow through that. So it's a very quick update, as I'll probably talk about it more in the next few weeks.
Great. My Final Fantasy 14 update is that I finished the main story quest.
Hey.
I finished all of the post Endwalker patches, and I gotta say I really like that story. They tend to be kind of more self-contained stories afterwards, but I thought it wrapped up well. It was quite a traditional kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
You kill some bosses and then there's a big boss. It's just but you could see straight from the beginning what you're gonna have to do, and I quite like that.
Yeah.
But it had a really, and there's a new character that they added who is called Zero, which I'm sure everybody knows this, but she is phenomenal, and she's an amazing Reaper, and she will be your I'm sure you'll love her when you meet her.
I look forward to it.
Right. What have other people been playing? We've actually got 2 weeks of these, but I think we're just doing the latest one.
I was gonna say we've only got a couple.
Oh no, we've got, if you scroll up, we didn't do any of them from the previous.
Oh.
So we should.
Okay, we should, apparently. Let me go all the way back. Bear with.
All right. Also, Friday Night Wrestling this Friday. If you're listening to this the moment it comes out, then it will be tonight. If not, go and check it out. It will be available on... Kind of want to put it on... It probably will go on YouTube, and this Saturday is Biggest Vision, which will be on twitch.tv/bbafterdark from 5 p.m. UK time, where we go through all the Eurovision entries, bar a certain one, and vote on them. Have you found them, Ed?
No. I feel like I've...
Did you scroll past them? Maybe we didn't have that many. Any...
What was the date last week?
What, last week? It was like the 23rd or something. 23rd, we'll say.
I think it was the 20th, and we only had one.
Oh, okay.
But
Go
that's
for that then.
Which was
sure.
Farthig Newton. He says, I've been catching up a bit in Final Fantasy XIV in prep for the expansion. Also, I started Stardew Valley the other day, but I haven't had much time to really get into it. I'm mostly looking forward to the FF expansion, Dawn Trail, and the WoW expansion coming up as well. No new games have really caught my attention yet.
Okay. Yeah, I think it has been a while since we did.
It has been. Sorry, everybody. That's on us for being out of time.
Well, it's been a bit weird with what we've been doing with our multiple interview streams.
Indeed. But we did have a couple more this week.
It's like we won't be interviewing the voice actor for Eve, will we? After what Ed said about her,
I said that she was great. It's just I think it's the voice direction that she's been given. Like it's a choice.
Okay.
I'm sure she's great. She's a Scottish lady.
Oh.
And I'm sure she's done other characters that are really good. So I think it's specifically like the direction of
don't worry.
Eve.
That's fine.
I just want to be clear. Right, Clues says, seeing that Fallout 76 is on Game Pass, I decided to give it a try. I'm 56 hours in, addicted, and this is a true Bethesda experience, with endless walking through empty environments, mini stories hiding in every corner, must loot everything, hashtag, janky ragdoll physics, and an encompassing sense of adventure. Makes me want to go back to Starfield again.
Oh.
I'll say, Clues, you haven't necessarily sold it.
What game was that again? Sorry, I didn't.
Fallout 76.
Oh, I don't understand. There's like this big resurgence being like, oh, Fallout 76 is really good now. And
Well,
I saw
I'll get
someone
to that
play
because
it.
we've got headlines. But
I saw someone play and I was like, a lot of people going like, should I play Fallout 76 or Fallout 4? I'm like, 4?
Definitely 4. Definitely 4.
Um,
And then we've got a nice long one from Chaddy.
Oh.
Big week for gaming, he says. Finished Final Fantasy 16 at the weekend, which I shared my thoughts in the Discord, which we did read. He liked it, just for the TLDR.
Wow, that's all you got from that.
But had a great time overall and will mop up leftover side stuff at some point. I am 50% of the way through Tales of Kenzera, which I am enjoying. We also didn't really talk about that, but we did an interview, so you've heard enough about that.
You finished it.
Read
Read your review.
Please do. The story is interesting, even if the gameplay is a little lacking at times. However, at the end of Act 2, I was raging, trying to do that part just before the second boss, which was also something a bit different that I hadn't seen before personally. I think it's one of the escape sequences, which was really cool. It's a great little game and hope it gets lots of support. As from the Swap and Joysticks episode, he seems such a great person who should have lots of love behind him. Agreed. Tales of Kenzera is great. I agree. Like the gameplay is not pushing the genre massively, but the setting and the story is really really
good.
Well
7
done.
out of 10, you say?
Yeah. Finally, I had a look at Manor Lords, which has been a great time sink. I wish I had more time to play. I was impressed by how much customization I could put into my coat of arms before starting a playthrough.
You can indeed.
For early access, it's a great start, and I look forward to new additions and being with the game as it grows. I've also played the odd game of Dota and Fortnite this week too, which are both just fun for when you have a spare hour.
Sometimes you need that.
He's been busy.
Manor Lords it's just one dev, and I really hope that he brings more people on with all the early access money, because I think it sold really, really well. And hopefully be able to afford to bring a couple of people on to kind of fine tune it, fix the bugs, and nice. Maybe help develop it a bit faster, because otherwise it could be like 6 years before it's 1.0.
Indeed. Should we talk about the news quickly?
Go on then. What
Let's
is in
finish
the news?
up with some headlines.
Going on. We haven't done a proper podcast in a while, so we had quite a lot to talk about when it came to games.
Yeah, we've had a blab.
Right.
So first one is from today, which is a new patch coming to Starfield, which you might be interested in.
I finished Starfield, you know?
Well, I know. So it's initially going to be a Steam beta, but it will also be coming to Xbox. And it's got various different things and like improvements to like environmental stuff and blah, 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 blah. But it is also adding a 60 FPS mode.
Is it?
Yep.
I didn't even see this on Xbox.
There you go. Yep. Which is going to annoy you because you played it all in 30.
No, genuinely.
Which is why I brought this up.
No, I weirdly, like, I'm thinking, like, it technically didn't need it. I played it all in 30 and it was great. But that's good if it's 60. It makes me want to kind of go back and play a bit more if it's in 60.
Yep.
Go. No, I'm not. I wouldn't be bitter about that. I'm happy. I wish they would do that with all games.
I mean, it makes me tempted to play
Wish they do it in Bloodborne.
Sure. Also on Xbox news, they announced yesterday that the dates for the Xbox Games Showcase.
9th of May.
No, it's June.
Oh, 9th of June.
Yes, 9th of June.
Oh. I thought I'd see
Correct.
that. You know when you think you've seen the... Yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
So this is essentially part of Summer Games Fest, which is, well, it's not part of it, but it's the same time. It's not E3, but it kind of is, etc. So 9th of June, 6 p.m. UK time, which is 10 a.m. PT and 1 p.m. ET. And it's the first time...
Oh, no.
Yep. It's the first time that Xbox will have Bethesda and Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, because no BlizzCon.
Exactly. So it's everyone together plus third-party developers. Now, this is going to be followed by a direct of a mystery game.
Call of Duty.
So don't spoil it for people. So last year they had the showcase, which was kind of just all their games of like, this is what's coming up. And then it was followed by the Starfield direct. So clearly that's going to be their structure going forwards. And they have one this year for a mystery game, which is so far redacted and has a symbol of a three-headed dog.
Wolf.
Which would be, or wolf, which is Cerberus, which is the code name for the next Call of Duty.
And this Call of Duty, is it Treyarch?
I can't remember.
But it's the one, they haven't produced a Call of Duty in 4 years. So people are like, oh, what have they been cooking? And it's Black Ops, I think, isn't it?
I think there's rumors that it's going to be another Black Ops game.
But yeah, people are actually quite, in the Call of Duty community, which you won't know, they are looking forward to it because, yeah, it has been quite a few years since they've done one and it could be a big one. Which they need to after the shite they put out last time.
Yeah. So what they actually said was that the, which is quite funny, is that the Mystery Direct will be about the next installment of a beloved franchise, which had lots of people guessing.
Jak and Daxter.
And, well, no, but people are going to like Xbox games. So then there's rumors that there's going to be a new Gears of War or Gears of War coming back. So there was rumors of maybe it's that. People are really also hopeful for Fable, but I think Fable is going to be a long way off. I think it's quite behind in development. So I think that's not going to be ready at all. And so the fact that this is now Call of Duty, it's like, oh, it's this beloved franchise. It's Call of Duty.
Oh, is that what they were talking about?
It just feels like, okay, sure. Like that's just, I don't know if I would describe Call of Duty as a beloved franchise.
I think maybe Black Ops is one of the most popular kind of sub-franchise in Call of Duty.
But anyway, so they've had this big mystery and then it's immediately come out that it's Call of Duty. So there we go. But anyway, that is the 9th of June. Summer Games Fest is Friday the 7th of June. So that will be the Jeff Keighley event.
What am I doing then?
And then Ubisoft have a showcase on the 10th of June, so the day after Xbox, which is probably going to be a lot of Star Wars Outlaws because that is out in August.
Oh, we don't really have... Wait, 9th of June's a Sunday. Yeah.
Is it?
7th of June is a Friday. The 10th is a Monday. I'm going to have to book some days off, I think, if I'm staying up.
Sure. There we go. Right, this is one for your stream. There's a new Jackbox pack coming.
Oh yeah, is it for my stream?
It's adults only.
So it's gonna be for BB After Dark.
It's the naughty pack.
Striplash. Gonna play Striplash.
So the thing is that there are going to be 3 games, but they haven't said what they are yet.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Are they Twitch friendly?
I mean, probably not. They're described as provocative games, which will deliver on laughter, wit, and a touch of irreverence. I mean, as if Jackbox isn't already that.
I mean, have they seen me play Jackbox before?
Have they seen anyone play Jackbox?
Yeah, I talked about Lube and Poppers on the
In
stage
public.
in the stage at WASD.
I mean, if Coom isn't a perpetual answer, you're playing it wrong. So yes, that is something to look forward to. I don't know. I think this coming out this year,
Well,
but they haven't said when yet.
I did
so.
quote tweet it and said strip Jackbox, and I think the community manager liked it and retweeted it.
That doesn't mean it's coming, man.
Well, we can play that.
Sure. And then Fallout news. Fallout is massive, and it's because of the TV show.
Yeah.
So Amazon announced a few days ago that
Have you watched it yet?
No, but that's because I want to finish Shogun before we continue with it.
Oh, I thought you were trying to finish the other game. Are you allowed to talk about that one you're watching?
Oh, Knuckles, it's out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is it good?
That's my response to that.
Mm.
But loads of people watching Fallout. In fact, 65 million people have watched Fallout in its first 2 weeks.
All of the episodes, or
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's all of it. But it is the second most watched show on Amazon. The first one being The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, which obviously Lord of the Rings, that's going to be massive. So it shows you how big Fallout is.
shows you how big Amazon is.
Well, also true. But I mean, I was worried when we saw the first 2 episodes that it wasn't going to cross over into like mainstream culture.
Yeah.
But it feels like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to watch this Fallout show without knowing anything about the games. Like one of my friends has now been messaging me saying, Ed, should I play the Fallout games? Because I like the TV show.
No.
Yeah, the thing is that the games have also proven popular. So Fallout 4, basically they don't have a new game, which is a little bit silly, I
I
think.
think they're pumping out the new game a bit faster now, like quick.
I don't think they will be. So the thing is with like The Last of Us, they released The Last of Us Part 1 as like a remake, and everyone was like, oh, that's stupid. But then that's ended up selling really well off the back of the TV show because they came out at the same time. But they haven't done that with Fallout. They haven't released a new game. So what they've probably scrambled together is a new gen patch for Fallout 4, which basically is buggy and fucks up the game. So people, like the most used mod for Fallout 4 on PC is like reverting back to pre-patch, which is not good. They've also updated Fallout 76 and added some new stuff to it. That has had like the most players ever that it's ever had in a day. I can't remember what the numbers are, but like the most ever.
I played it at launch and it was dire.
Yeah, it had a really, really bad launch.
Yeah.
It's now a lot better, I think, than it was, but still not maybe the best Fallout experience. Todd Howard was interviewed by Kinda Funny and was talking about how they like to spend a lot of time over the games and they want them to be really good quality. So I feel like they're not going to just rush out another one, but I also feel like Fallout 5 is probably a long way off.
Oh, I don't know. Well, the thing is, they announced Fallout 4 like 4 months before it came out, so maybe they're going to be like some of the games first. Hey, this is out at Christmas, and everyone will lose their shit.
I think what's more likely is that they're probably doing some sort of remake remaster of either 3 or New Vegas.
But do they own New Vegas now?
Yeah.
Well, no, New Vegas was made by
Obsidian.
And they are
Now making Avowed. But yeah, so they're part of it still.
Yeah, so they're still part of it, so that's good.
Yeah. And then the last one is just a quick heads up because it's a game that I'm really looking forward to. And you're looking forward to it as well.
Am I?
And I think that the chat should look forward to it. And I want to highlight it. And that is Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh, is it the Austrian money game?
Which is the Austrian Zelda game.
Yes.
Which now has a release date. So I played this at Gamescom last year and it was bloody brilliant. And I really want people to like and play this. It was announced at the Idea Xbox Showcase, which was earlier in the week. It's coming out on the 18th of July on Xbox and Steam. It's out day one on Game Pass. Basically, it is a dungeon action-adventure game like Zelda, where you go into dungeons and solve puzzles and combat and stuff like that. It's that, but also a social sim in the Alps, in a town, with lots of like rosy-cheeked, lovely people from Austria, set in the Alps. And it's got this really beautiful like graphic comic book style of visuals. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game, so I want to champion it, and people should play that. It's in July.
So I just was looking to see if there's any other news.
Do you not trust me?
Yeah. But I went into the game subreddit, and the third top one at the moment, Topspin 2K25 players furious at server issues. It's your article.
There we go.
And it's had 431 likes.
Nice.
Get more than that on Twitter, than you do on Twitter.
Mm.
But yeah, apparently, and they're also Take-Two are closing some office, but Kerbal Space Program's still going on.
Yes.
Also, the PlayStation Plus monthly games. We should always talk about those when they get announced.
Should we?
Yeah.
Well, we should, because this month...
Destiny. Oh, it's got two of the best games ever. Destiny 2 Lightfall and EA Sports FC 24. And a game called Ghost Runner and a little thing called Tunic. But that's quite...
Excuse me, Tunic is the headline here. Tunic is fucking brilliant. And if you haven't played it, then get it on PlayStation, because it's fucking
I hear
brilliant.
all the comments talking about Tunic and how it's one of their favourite games.
Because
they
is
actually
brilliant.
played it.
Yes. You, Ben, are in the minority, and your opinion is incorrect.
How dare you?
That is
Go
a
back
fact.
to your booby games.
That is a fact. Do you know what? I'm going to go and play the booby game right now.
While
I'm not
I'm
gonna play Final
editing,
Fantasy.
updating wrestlers and creating things for Friday Night Wrestling, and also I've got to go and clean and tidy up all the
After
dinner.
the delicious meal that I made for you that you then picked away out and left half of it because you decided you didn't like it when it was delicious because it was made from the heart.
Tasted like it was. It was. I'm not sure what. It was okay. I've had that before, but usually you have it with other things. It was just cabbage and just like meh.
Right. It was Korean belly pork that was done in the air fryer
But the Korean sauce
with stir-fried vegetables and rice.
Yeah, the vegetables and rice didn't need the sauce. It just made it a bit meh. And the cabbage was a bit hard. Try and maybe boil it next time.
Try shutting the fuck up and eating what you're given. Otherwise, you can live on fucking McDonald's and shit your guts out. Did you just fart on the podcast?
There's even mentioning the name McDonald's.
Right, can we end this before you gas me out of this room, please?
Sure. Oh, it is. Yeah, that's not bad. Not a good one.
Oh,
All right,
no.
then. Where can we find you, Ed?
Online. You?
I found Ed_Nights. The link's down there, whatever. I'm Biggest Benner, so Biggest Benner's one on the old Twitter. And go to YouTube and watch all the videos. And another one's coming out.
Okay, bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.